It's a cloudy morning out there, a few scattered flurries, and Chelsea Priest is on the line here from the ABC6 Weather Center. Good morning, Chelsea.
Good morning, guys. How's it going?
We were talking earlier about who do you think has the worst job today? Is it a New England meteorologist or a superintendent of schools?
Right? Oh, gosh, I know. Well, you know what I will say? We chatted a little bit earlier about different tweets coming in and everything. I kind of went on social media, took it to the chin. Was like, this kind of didn't play out exactly like we expected.
But you know something? I disagree. I think that you guys,
absolutely,
you were very conservative with what you were calling. When a lot of other places that I was seeing they were not being conservative at all.
No, there were some really high totals that were thrown out there. We did stay on the conservative side. We still didn't actually meet that conservative side. There was still some accumulation happening this morning, mostly on grassy surfaces and cold tops and things like that. But there were some obstacles that the storm had to face. What I was going to say is that, honestly, all the responses I'm getting this morning are people like, it's okay. I'm okay with it. It's March 22nd. It's okay. I'm glad that we
totally.
Right.
I think people had their fill.
I was anticipating people to be upset, but people seem to be, for the most part, okay with it. But it is, of course, it's frustrating. We spend a lot of time working on a forecast, and any March snowstorm, it takes a lot of, it has to overcome a lot of obstacles. So last week we had all of that snow, that storm system, all of those obstacles, that system overcame them, and we had significant snowfall. This was never supposed to be like last week's system in terms of wind, in terms of snow, anything like that. In fact, in terms of all three of the systems that we've seen so far this month up until this one, this was certainly the weakest. But what happened yesterday, during a lot of the day, there's some really dry air in place. It takes a while for any precipitation to kind of overcome that dry air. So what happens is it falls, it meets dry air, and then just gets fizzled up before it gets to the surface. So that happened. Temperatures stayed incredibly warm. It really hasn't been until this morning that the temps started to drop. Plus, there's that March sun angle we talked about. So, unfortunately, with this one, or fortunately, I guess, depending on how you're looking at it, things just didn't quite come together with this one. There is still some snow this morning. I'm getting some reports across the area of some slip conditions, depending on where you are. Some spots are dealing with some steadier snow showers, some just seeing some light flurries, kind of some snow holes showing up. Jeff was working last night, and there were parts of Long Island that picked up like 19 inches of snow. And then, of course, right up above the sound, there was nothing. So there were some snow bands that set up just down to the south of us and just sat there, like 25 miles to the south of us, and just sat there. And you're like looking at it. He said it was like watching paint dry, trying to see if it was going to come up, and just didn't. We didn't tap into any of that. So
I was watching
down today.
I was watching Jeff last night on ABC6's Facebook page, and he was talking about. He said that he's been a meteorologist for what, like over 20 years or whatever it was. And
How long have you been a meteorologist? Jeff is here with me. Jeff. Yeah, how many years? Yeah, 12 years. 12
okay,
years.
So he said on Facebook last night that he's never commented ever about the way schools get closed or don't get closed. And he said, but yesterday he just couldn't resist because he said there was never supposed to be any like major snow issue yesterday morning. It was always a late afternoon, last night event.
Right. All along, the morning commute was expected to be fine. We did expect things to kind of deteriorate through the evening and overnight. So it was certainly kind of a surprising call. Obviously, we have nothing to do with that call.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where the superintendents, they get their information from different outlets. I'm sure they watch the forecast, but we have absolutely nothing to do with those calls that are made. But from Monday morning, when we're forecasting, it was never a morning commute issue. It was never a first part of the day issue. It was as the day went on.
So at what point yesterday did you guys look at each other and say, this isn't happening?
Not until late, because it wasn't until, I thought once we lost the March sun, the warmer temperatures during the day, once we lost any of the sunlight during the day, that temperatures would start to drop. We'd start to see the accumulating snow coming in. So I even went to bed, probably... I go to bed kind of early, probably around like 8-ish, fully anticipating to wake up to at least some snow. Jeff was saying, I don't know if we're going to hit any of those higher amounts through the evening. You look at more and more data coming in, but it really wasn't until late in the day that it looked like, oh man, we're not going to tap into any of those bandings. It's still so warm out.
So
it was a tough one.
Are we done now? Can we go to spring? Like, are we all set?
Seriously, I think I'm 100% okay with that. Things stay fairly quiet over the next couple of days. We may see a few sprinkles or a flurry, but by the middle of next week, we have temperatures near or at 50 degrees. So That's seasonable. It's not above average, but at least it's better than what we've been seeing.
Well, we've got opening day in baseball next week, so we can't have snow.
So we got to get there.
And you know what, Chelsea? Listen, you can think of it this way. You guys can hang your hats high, because if all the other weather stations were playing Price is Right with you guys would be the winner.
Right. I love it.
Yeah. The Michael Rock Show. Fun in the morning. 107.1. Fun 107.